Yeah, I love that. Well, how about, do you have a copy of the book that you wrote? Is it Amazing Grace? I got all the books.
I do. I brought both in here because I thought you might ask me. I got all kinds of things on my desk, but this is my first book.
Yeah, I've got that.
It's been through three covers.
Yeah.
This is the most recent cover, and so this is my first book. I wrote it in from 1989 to 1991.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole story of my sister's case. And I was living in Texas at the time. The movie was being done on CBS at the same time. God's timing was amazing because my family had been asked for years to be a part of movies, and we always said no. And this production company came to us and they said, we are doing the movie with or without you, but we'd really like your input. And so when I realized somebody was taking my family story and going to put it on TV, I wanted to be a part of that. And I just happened to have been writing this at the same time. And so I would write and I would send them the copy. And so that's why the movie is based on a true story, but so much of my story and our faith is in there. And so through this writing of this book, through the movie being done, I had also gotten a letter from the man that killed my sister. And he had asked if I would forgive him. Oh, and so that's journaled in here as well as, I mean, it was all such perfect timing that, you know, I didn't hate him and I was in a very busy ministry. But anytime somebody would say, well, what about the man? How do you feel about him? It would send a twinge of irritation of, I can't believe you. How dare you ask me about him?
Yeah.
And so God wasn't finished with that work. And again, like I said earlier, it's a process. And I took 2 years before I could answer his letter. So in 1991, I wrote him back and I said, you know, because of the grace of God in my own life, I am forgiven. And because of his forgiveness, I forgive you. Right. And my mother was the most amazing example because she, I think I have a picture. Here's my family. It's a really old picture. But there's mom and me and Robert and Sherry and my dad.
Right.
And my precious mom, we had to meet that man in person and identify his voice as that of the caller when he was arrested. And he was arrested only because my sister's letter had an imprint of a phone number where he was house sitting, and her letter led to his capture.
Yes.
Which was miraculous. And so Mom and I had to go meet him. And the minute that he started talking, my mother just looked him in the face with such kindness. And she said, I know that you're the man that killed my Sherry. And she said, and I'm looking at you and I realize it. And there's nothing you can say to make it better. You killed my daughter. She said, but I want you to know, I don't even hate you. And I pray God has mercy on your soul. And she said it was right then and there. She forgave him. And I said, Mom, how in the world could you speak those words to him? He didn't deserve it. She said the most amazing thing I've never forgotten, Jane. She said, the minute I saw that man, I didn't just see him as the man who killed my daughter, but I saw him as another mother's son.
Oh, wow.
She said, I wasn't the only mother that was hurting because of this.
Oh, wow.
And that was so incredibly powerful to me as a 21-year-old.
Oh, goodness.
And so I remember thinking, surely if my mother forgave that man on the spot, then I can forgive him. But I wasn't as gracious. It took 2 years before I came to that place. So that was my first book. And then here's the second follow-up, and it's called Thus Far, a book about
life. Yeah, got that too.
And the lessons learned along the way. Yeah, we both got each other's books. and that is a follow-up since writing the first book. I went through an unwanted divorce when my kids were 1 and 4. And my sweet mama has now been with Sherry and Jesus for 20 years and battled ovarian cancer. And so it's just a little more of the journey, a little more diving into the depth of the journey of forgiveness for me, which has played such a huge role in the freedom in which I now walk in my life. You know, John 10:10 says the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And that was the purpose that the enemy had in what happened in my family. But God says, but I have come that you may have abundant life.